Ratan Shardaji, researcher, RSS researcher and author with us. I have Mr. Gopal B, Hosur, former IGP of Karnataka Police. Rajinder Kumar ji, former Special Director of the Information Intelligence Bureau. And Syed Asad Abbas, political analyst. Namaste, gentlemen. Thank you very, very much. I'm going to start with Gopal B. Hosur. Gopal ji, Rajinder Kumar ji has shared a lot of information and I'll bring him in also. But this Bhatkal has been on the radar of every intelligence agency, not just in the state, but also across the country and also centrally. How is it that this has become such a big hotbed for radicalism?
Thank you for this question. Actually, I think Bhatkal seems to be the epicenter of militant, violent, radical Islam. We have investigated a number of cases which are linked to Bhatkal, Riyaz Bhatkal, Shabandri, and his brother, who were just young boys who went to Mumbai, stayed in the Tiger camp, got themselves radicalized, and subsequent to the Simis being proscribed, they formed the Indian Mujahideen. And every investigation of every serial blast in this country led to Bhatkal. These boys had left Bhatkal but had gone to the Mumbai and from there to Kerala and then to Mangalore. So the whole of the West Coast, in my opinion, was highly radicalized place for carrying out terrorist activities in this country. And to this day, Riyaz Bhatkal and his brother are still not caught by the Indian investigating agencies. Probably I am told that they are in Pakistan.
Yes.
So this is a very, very serious matter. Once the Simi was proscribed, the local outfits, right from 1990 further, the Simi, the KFP, the PFI, the SDPI and all this, they got highly radicalized and the youth joined the movement of the Indian Mujahideen. They carried out serial blasts across the country. Thanks to the present dispensation, they came down very, very heavily on terror and they strengthened the anti-terror mechanism of the country. In the recent past, we have never had any serious problem connected to violence in the hinterland or by the homegrown terrorists within India and more so the southern India. So I feel that Bhatkal, which has been an epicenter, it has been a very, very important center. It is on the west coast and it has been highly influenced by the terror outfits from Kerala who were caught going over to ISIS. Yeah. They were caught, encountered on the Kashmir border, so on and so forth. So I think we need to pay far more greater attention to the radicalization of the youth who had taken to violent terrorism.
Now, because if it was Indian Mujahideen then, it is the Daesh or Islamic State now, but the whole manifestation is radical bent, pan-Islamist, and somewhere there is this influence which is foreign to our country. Now, I have our research team just pull out some information and backgrounder to Bhatkal. I'm just going to quickly read it as I bring in Rajinder Kumar ji and Ratan Sharda ji. Now, Bhatkal is a quiet coastal town in Karnataka. And how did it turn from a quiet coastal town in Karnataka to the hotbed for terror and radicalism? That's the larger question, ladies and gentlemen. It's been termed mini Dubai, mini Pakistan, and the birthplace of the Indian Mujahideen. Now, even though Bhatkal is in the Uttara Kannada district, has a population of less than 150,000 people, every intelligence agency, state or central, has its units deployed in this town. It's a hometown like he was telling us just now, Gopalji was telling us, that it is the hometown of Yasin and Riyaz Bhatkal, two masterminds behind multiple terror attacks in the country and also active founders or members of the Indian Mujahideen. Many believe that RSS activist and local MLA Dr. Chittaranjan's murder in April 1996 actually changed the political narrative of a town which historically was known for its communal harmony. And according to census data says, and let's try and call out some of the information which we plotted via graphics. Now, according to census data, besides a very, very predominant population of Muslims, there are also Christians, Buddhists and Jains in this area. And barring a few minor clashes in 1974, 78 and 88, now the town had an easygoing pace and free interaction among the people of different communities. It all started changing in the 90s. And if you were to see, birthplace of the Indian Mujahideen, Yasin Bhatkal, Riaz Bhatkal is one. And then now the ISIS connect happens with Zufri Jawahar Damudi. Now he is also a Bhatkal resident. So since 1991, things had started going down south, ladies and gentlemen. And in there, the Lok Sabha polls 1991, that changed. Communal clashes erupted in 1993. The Muslims in Bhatkal are seen as primarily known to be either Nawayats or the Dakhinis. The Nawayats trace their origin to Arab countries, and they believe that their ancestors came to this town somewhere in the 8th century from Arabia. Decades before partition, Muslim families of the Nawayat community had business links with Karachi and other parts of Pakistan. So over the years, marriage alliances between Karachi and Bhatkal became common. Even after partition, this has happened, and this practice continued. And many women who married men from Bhatkal got Indian citizenship. So this Arabi influence and also this Pakistani influence continued. It existed before, it has continued even now. And somewhere, as Gokulji was saying, Rajinderji, this influence of the petrodollars and also Malayalis returning from Gulf and coming back very, very Arabized in their approach, has that also had an influence? And are you surprised to find that there are 48 highly radical elements who have now been cracked down upon? Rajinder ji, can you hear me?
Yes, please. Yes.
So Rajinder ji, I wanted to understand, Bhatkal, Indian Mujahideen then, Islamic State now, the history backgrounder. How is it that one person divulges that there are at least 50 such radicals across our country? All influenced by the IS.
Hello.
Yes, Rajinder ji, can you hear me?
Hello. Yeah, I can hear you. Bhatkal has an old history. I will not say that it has suddenly got this Islamic radicalism. It has a very, very old history. In fact, if you go into the whole of the history of the terrorism, Islamic terrorism in India, you will find one thing very important, that the basis, all these people who subsequently got into the terrorist business, they all initially have linkages with the underworld. They were all part of the underworld. Even this Bhatkal area was landing point for lot of smuggled goods from other countries in the 80s and 90s. These are the people who got their legs there. And I remember that in these people, even in 2000, they were part of the LET. Large number of people were having connection with the LET. The same people now LET too. They are keep on changing their clothes. They are now in with the other organizations. But the mentality, that same Wahhabi thinking, Salafi thinking continues, and their dream of creating India a caliphate is there, and they keep on working on this. In this, they get lot of assistance from Pakistan. Pakistan is the Karachi is the base of the people who are in Bhatkal. And large number of people from Bhatkal, large number of people with terrorist background from Bhatkal are living in Karachi.